Components are one of the basic building blocks of Angular framework. It's really essential if you want to get into Angular, then components is something really basic you should understand in first hand, because that's really as I told, it's really building block of Angular framework. In this video, I'm going to show how we can create a component in Angular. Before start building application, you have to make sure that you have Angular CLI installed in a machine. It's using basically this command npm install to install it globally Angular CLI, because we are going to create a new app using Angular CLI. Okay, so let's jump straight to the code, and I'll explain each of the building blocks. And by end of this video, you'll be in a position to create an Angular component on your own. Okay, so for that, let me go to C drive and we'll create a new project here. After you install Angular CLI, with this command you can create an Angular app, and ng new, and let's say the project name or the application name is Angular component. Okay, it will create a template for us, and here I'm not going to use Angular routing, so I'll say yes, and remaining all I'll give the default one, basically use CSS, and yeah, it's installing all the packages, and once it completes, it will create a project template for us. Okay, so let's wait for to install all packages and create a project template for us. So now all the packages has been installed, and hopefully it has created an Angular app for us. So let us see when I open folder, and here it has created Angular component. So let us open that. So before getting into creating a component on our own, it's really essential to understand how Angular app bootstrap, or how to load an Angular app. So for that, first let us visit the entry point of an Angular application. Once the project has been created, we will be able to see a file called main.ts. Okay, so well, before that, we'll do one thing. Let us run this application. Okay, so let me go to view terminal, and once it load, here say ng serve, so that will build and host application to a local port. So it's building. We'll wait for the build to be completed. So now the application has been built and hosted to this port 4200. Let's open this and see. Okay, we can see something has been loaded, but where this is coming from? To understand that, let us bisect the application one by one. The entry point of any Angular application is main.ts, which is a TypeScript file. Okay, here you can see this is bootstrapping something called app module. So what is app module? Looking at the app folder, we can see something called app.module.ts, which looks a bit similar to this name. Okay, so let us open that. Here again we can see something called app component. That's what bootstrapping. And when we look further, we can see another TypeScript file which has almost similar name as this. Okay, so let's open that. Okay, here we can see a class which has been decorated with something called component. I'll come to that later. I'll explain each one of these later. Okay, but the two lines of code which we are interested now is this. Okay, we can see something called app-root. Okay, just remember that this part. Okay, I'll show you where it is used. Okay, but for now, just there's something called a selector named app root, and there is a HTML file, app.component.html. Okay, let's go to app.component.html. that is same as this one. Okay, here we can see a big piece of HTML file. Okay, let me delete all that. Okay, and just give this is app component. Okay, and let me save it. As ngServer is listening for the changes, it will automatically host the changes. Okay, so when we open this one, we can see now the whole HTML has gone and it has written this app component that is exactly as this one. It means this is loading app component. Okay, basically this HTML, but how it is loaded? Okay, let me go back again to app component here, and we can see this selector. So basically this selector is loading this HTML, but where this selector has been used, in fact the page, this page is nothing but index.html. this page here we have used app.root, that is exactly same as this one, this selector. Okay, it means this selector, behind this selector there's a HTML, and when we load that selector here, it loads the HTML, basically this HTML. That's how it is loading. Its app root is nothing but a component, a built-in component by Angular. To make sure, let me delete this piece of code and save it, and when I open it again, it's loading. There is nothing. So now we are sure it's loading app component, basically this HTML, and when we add it back to index HTML and while saving it, we can see it's loading it again. Okay, so this is how an Angular application loads. Now the question is how to create a component on our own. It's pretty simple. As you have seen in app component is nothing but a class, a TypeScript class which has been decorated with component decorator. So that's exactly what even we need to do. So let us build a component, and let us name that component shopping list component. So let me create a folder here under app folder and name it shopping list. Okay, so as the first step, we have to create a class, a TypeScript class named shopping list component. So shopping list component. It's a TypeScript class, and as I told, component is nothing but a class. So name it shopping list component. Okay. Now this is just a normal TypeScript class. This is not a component. To make this class component, we have to decorate it with component decorator. So component, and that has been imported from Angular core package. Okay, here there are two lines which we are interested in now, because we are not going to give any styles. Okay, that's the reason. First of all, I'm going to add a selector. So let's name this selector app-shopping list. That's a selector we are going to use later. And the template, basically we can directly add a template here. We can hardcode the HTML here, or we can add a template URL. So I'm going with the template URL, and the template URL is, now we don't have any template URL defined. So let me create a HTML file. Okay, under shopping list again, it's shopping list dot component dot HTML. So now the HTML is ready. Let us add some code there, and another list, and list of items. Say apple. Let's name it orange. And banana and milk. Let's see. So this is a shopping list. This is a hard-coded shopping list. Okay. Now we have the HTML ready, and here we need to add the path of that HTML. So let us add that. Shopping list dot component. Okay, now we have added the template. Okay, so let's see. Now the component is ready, and let's try to use it here under app component and see what happens. So we need to add it here because this is a root. So app component. Immediately after adding app component, I can see a red line here. And it's a app shopping list is Angular component, then verify that's a part of this module. Okay, what's that message? Let's ignore that now, and let us okay, immediately after it builded, again we got the same error. So it means there is something wrong which needs to be fixed. Basically it means Angular is not able to identify this component. For Angular to be able to identify this component, we should register this component first. So we should register under app module. In app module, under declarations, we have to register it. So shopping list component, and the ID automatically import the corresponding package here. So now we have registered the component. Okay, let us save it and build it fine. Let us load here. It is loading, and still we can't see anything. So let us see why. Because we have added a shopping list here, and shopping list has a template, shopping list dot component dot HTML, and we have even unordered list, but still it's not loading. So let us see why. Basically I couldn't find anything here because everything is correct. But let us save file once more and see. Probably it might not have saved it properly. Okay, now it has been saved. Let us see. Nice. It is loaded the component which we have created. So that's how we can create a component, a custom component on our own. So as I told, component is nothing but a TypeScript class decorated with @component decorator, and it has a selector. So basically this selector will use across multiple parts of the application. Okay, and it has a template. That template has, contains the corresponding HTML for that component. And a third attribute here, we have something called style URLs, which is an array. So here we can give multiple inline style for this component. That's how it works, but I'm not going to add any style. If you want to add style, you can add a CSS class here, and in the CSS class you can define style of that component. Basically you can give styles to this HTML behind that, but I'm not going to add any styles here. And yeah, that's how it creates a custom component. Okay, now we did everything manually, but there's an easy shortcut to do that, because we don't need to do everything manually, create the files and TypeScript class or HTML. We don't need to create all these files manually. Okay, there is a way to do that. It's a simple shortcut. Let me add another terminal here. The shortcut is ng generate component name here. Okay, or a shortcut ng-gc. Let's say I want to create a order component, order, and when I enter, it is creating a component for us. Okay, now you can see by default it will create under app folder. So under app folder you can see it has created a component file and it has created a HTML for us. And when you go to app module, you can see even that is registered here. That's how we can create a component with ng-gc command. And you can see here a couple of more files generated. That's basically a test file. Okay, and this is the CSS file. If you don't want to add the test file, then you can say ng, for example, let me give orders. Okay, then skip tests equal to true. When you give that, it will generate a component, but it will skip the test files. So you can see here it doesn't have a test file. Okay, that's why we can skip the test file. Okay, so that's how you can create a component. This is pretty easy concept, but it's really the basic building block of any Angular application. Thank you.